Listen, listen, whispering within your soul, hints of laughter, hints of joy, sweet songs of sadness, of quenchless yearning for the light, for my love, your true home. Long your heart has played the dance, long you've toyed with merest shadows of the treasures left behind you, deep in your soul. Long you plumbed the dark for answers, long you've begged from beggars' empty hands, gifts of life they too were seeking, gifts none could share. Friend, how long will you wander? Friend, as long as you seek your home in a land where all are strangers, love locks her door. Leave to the weak his craven life, to the coward leave his dreaming. Oh, my saint, wake up, reclaim the light, seek the truth behind all seeming. Leave to the weak his craven life, to the coward leave his dreaming. Oh, my saint, wake up, reclaim the light, seek the truth behind all seeming. Turn, turn, turn within, in silence of soul, in cave of love, find my abode. Listen, listen, whispering within your soul, hints of laughter, hints of joy, sweet songs of sadness, of quenchless yearning for the light, for my love, your true home.
To become a saint, you must have that willingness then to seek that and to know that nothing else matters, nothing else even is. When you have that kind of sincerity, then I think to become a saint will be very easy. Because it isn't all that big a project to know who you are. The big project is to forget who you aren't. You have to get rid of all, it's like that sculptor who was asked how he did such a beautiful sculpture of an elephant, and he said it was very simple. I had a piece of stone and I cut away everything that didn't look like an elephant. And it's an interesting way of putting it, but what we have to do in a sense is that too about our own growth, to cut away all those things which we are not. But I'd say that the two were necessary, to have a vision of the elephant and have a vision of that which is not the elephant. That is to say, on the one hand, in your own mind, understand clearly and keep telling yourself, in every circumstance, have a part of your mind that's behind there saying, is this really I? No. Then let me not associate with it in my heart. Let me do what I have to do, but never say that, never define myself in terms of that. Then the next thing is to have the positive image of what we're looking for, if not based on our actual experience, then based on what many people have said that gives us something to hope for. But more than that, Indeed, it should be based on our positive experience. Viktor Frankl's question, for example, why don't you commit suicide? And the person's answer, because my children need me, because I love my family. Even though everything else seems black, at least there's this little thing to cling to. Well, cling to what does make your life meaningful to you, but explore that meaning more and more deeply. What is it you love about your family? What is it you love about your children, your husband, your wife? Well, because they're such fun to be with, or whatever, that's not enough. Keep probing more and more deeply. Why do I want that? I want them because I want love. But would I want them if they hated me, if they ceased to love me, if they started turning against me? No, I wouldn't want them, possibly. Then, would you be willing to commit suicide? No, because I still realize that what I wanted from them, I still want. I want love. All right, then where are you going to find love? Oh, from this beautiful boy, this beautiful girl, from this lovely friend, whatever it might be. But that too can change. Feelings change, people change, they die if nothing else. What are you left with? You're still left with the longing for love. And the more you seek and probe, the more you discover that that love isn't something that can be defined by another person. It's an abstraction. You identify it with people, but it's really something abstract. And in a way, it's really a reflection of you. What we love in others is something that we see in them of ourselves.
Welcome again, everyone. This is such an important topic because it shows the goal. And I think for many people that they feel that they'll never reach that goal, but we need to keep it foremost in our minds. And we need to understand that to reach the goal, that we do our part. Guruji helps us, all the masters help us, and God's grace is there. Swamiji would many times come into a room and say, "Good morning, great souls." And people would look around and they would think, well, he must not be talking to me, but he was, and he is. And I remember once Swamiji saying to me, "Become a saint." And I thought, I mean, it was just the two of us in the room, and I just thought, that's just not possible. I didn't say it, but it was my own limitation that held me back. It was some years back, but afterwards I meditated on it and I realized he was sincerely saying that. And so for all of us, we have to hold that goal up in front of us and not say, oh, it's for the acharyas, oh, it's for the old timers, oh, it's for Swamiji, oh, it's for other people. It's for us to attain final freedom in God. And I want to share with you today some of the things I've seen since I've been at Ananda on how I feel people have become saintly or become saints or become free. And at Ananda, I mean, it's a community of saintly people, all aspiring to become one with God. All of the communities, those who are in love with God and seeking God, or saintly or becoming saints. And the first thing I saw that I can share with you today is the attitude of service. Now, this is so important that one of our dearest friends, Seva, her name was, and one of my best friends passed away just a couple of days ago, some of you know, but she lived her name. And up to the time, half hour before she left her body, she was serving. She went to satsang that morning and she went in the afternoon to serve. She was 86 years old. I don't think she ever had a sick day where she didn't serve Master. She was always serving and giving, and she changed her consciousness through service. Another wonderful friend there, She's in her 80s as well. And I remember she said, someone told me, she said this recently, no, I have to keep serving. I don't care what, I have to keep serving my guru. And this is the model, the example for us in our lives. If we think of Swamiji's life, he served up to the very end. Whatever I can do, what can I give to my guru instead of what can I take? And we saw a master, he left his body giving a lecture. And so for all of us to really think seriously, how can I really deeply serve my guru and give back? I was thinking of Jnana Mata, and even on her sickbed, she would write letters to the disciples. And that beautiful story of that one disciple, Horace, who couldn't walk, he couldn't talk, he couldn't even walk anymore. By the end of his life, he would lie on the grass in Encinitas and pull out the weeds from the flower beds. And this is such beautiful examples of giving one's life to God. And in some way, however you can, whatever you can do, take meditation teacher training and help people to learn to meditate, yoga teacher training, help people to relax through yoga postures, be on the healing prayer council, give financially, however you can help, but in some significant way from your heart. To become a saint, you have to be open to the flow of God's blessings to give to other people. The next point I want to bring up is devotion. And devotion is not just sentimental, emotional. Yes, I'm devotional. Devotion means I'm committed. I'm dedicated. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be a part of things. I'm going to help. I'm going to attend. I'm going to participate. Of course, I have devotion and love for my guru, but I have to show that in some way. It's, of course, it's in our heart, but also we have to show that we're committed. And I remember when I first got on the path, the words from the Bible, seek ye first the kingdom of God. And I thought, oh, I just can't do that. I got too many other things that I want to do. But I went step by step until now those words are really true. I mean, they've been true for a long time. And I remember Swamiji, when he wrote the chant, I want only thee, Lord. And people were saying, well, I just, that's not true for me. But it is at a certain point, you have to grow into it. And so keep the motto of your life, God alone. And even if you can't feel right now, okay, it's not God alone, affirm it. God alone is the goal. I'm going towards that goal of putting my life in complete devotion to God. Thirdly, I want to speak of another important attitude is attunement. Attunement to the ray that Master brought, attunement to the line of gurus, attunement to their teachings, being in attunement with his vibrations, his thoughts. I remember Swamiji saying near the end of his life, I don't want any other thoughts in my mind but those from my guru. Now that's attunement. It's not once in a while I have a thought that might be coming from Master, but it's in your life, try to bring every thought and action and attitude in attunement with Master. And this has to be worked on. You can't just say, no, I'm in tune. Well, probably not. There are degrees of attunement, but we have to work at it by studying, reading, coming to things, participating, coming online to classes, and coming to long meditations, participating in the Kriya Sangha, reading the different books, keeping a picture of Master. I have this beautiful picture just right here that I bring every week, and an altar on the side and an altar in the back. And I have an altar in every room. And I have an altar before you get into the house. And so to have in your mind, how can I be in attunement? And in that attunement, I remember one story Swamiji said of a man who, Master, I think it was Senor Kwaran, and Master saw him at a certain point, and he said, I lost touch with you for many lives, but I won't lose touch with you again. And Senor Kwaran said, oh, Master, please don't lose touch with me. And Master promised, he kept saying, please don't, Master promised him I won't. But then Swamiji explained that story more. And this is what he said, who lost touch with whom? Master in his generosity said that he had lost touch with Senor Quran, but it was Senor Quran lost touch with his guru. How can the guru lose touch with the disciple? When the disciple shuts the door, like one who said, I don't feel you as much as the others. And Master said, you shut the door, how can I come in? And so, and I remember Swamiji said, one time Master said to him, to Swamiji, oh, I've missed you, Walter. And Swamiji thought, oh, well, that's interesting. And then Swamiji went on to doing some other things the same day. And he started doing some things that they were wholesome, but they weren't deep in an attunement with Master. And Master saw him again. He said, oh, I have missed you, Walter. And then he sort of put his hand over his head like that and through his hair, just to sort of tell him, just don't let your attunement get off. And so for all of us, keep in mind that attunement with the guru, and maybe in your day, just have the thought, that mantra in your mind, Om Guru. Anytime you feel you're getting a little bit off, Om Guru, and keep that going in your mind. Keep pictures and the music, Master's talks, Swamiji's talks with you all the time. And finally, the last one is to be, I'm going to find it here. Yeah, sadhana. Keep your sadhana strong. There's so many excuses for not doing your meditation. Oh, I'm ill. Oh, I don't feel well. Oh, I'm busy. Oh, I got to get up early. Oh, I got up late. Oh, I'm late for work. Oh, I got home and I'm tired after work. The excuses go on and on and on. But doing Kriya is getting us to the goal. We have to remember as we do Kriya that we're burning up karma. And every time you do Kriya, you're getting another step forward towards the goal. Even if you can't do it well, even if it's difficult for you, even if you feel like you're not doing your meditation that well. I remember a time when I had left Ananda because I just felt I didn't want to be a saint. I just wanted to go back to my old way of life. Ananda was too challenging. I said, I want to be comfortable. I don't want to have a challenge in front of me every day. So I left for 3 years, believe it or not. I'm not proud of that, but it happened. And I went back to my home, back to the nest, that warm, familial nest. And I remember I had a picture of Master on my wall, a big one. It fell off the wall soon after I was there, and the glass cracked across his face. And I thought, oh God, that certainly couldn't be a good omen. And then my Kriya beads broke, and I remember they just spilled all over the floor. I thought that just couldn't be good either. And I went back to my old life, the old friends, all the things I thought would make me happy again. I wasn't happy, but I just was so headstrong. No, I'm going to stay here. I'll do it on my own. I don't need Ananda. I don't need anybody else. I'll do it on my own. And boy, I was sinking fast. I was barely meditating, barely doing the Kriyas. And sometimes I would just be in the bed doing Kriya. I have to say I kept doing it, but sometimes I wasn't doing it nearly as well as I should have, but I was hanging on by a thread. And I tell you this because if you're sadhana, if you don't have a sadhana, you can't even hang on by that thread. I was hanging on to the kriyas by that thread. And at a certain point, Master came to me. I didn't see him. I didn't hear his voice, but I knew he was saying, "What are you doing? Get back to Ananda." And I went for a weekend and I thought, well, nobody will remember me. I'll just sort of come in and nobody will know. You are Dhyana, you were here before. Where have you been? And anyway, I came back to the life Master had for me. And I know I came back because I held on to that thread of sadhana. And you can try it. As soon as you let go of that, everything else becomes alluring and you like it and you want to do this and that and you just sink down. So all of these things, the last point is don't miss sadhana. Just don't. If you're really, really sick, even just lie in bed and pray. Lie in bed and offer your life. Lie in bed, maybe do Hong Sa. But don't miss your sadhana. And if you don't, you will find from all these different things that you will be able to make it to the goal in this life. So here are the points again. First of all, dedicate yourself to the Guru's work and seva. Find some significant way to give back. Secondly, keep foremost in your mind God alone. Thirdly, work at attunement. Keep calling to the Guru, Om, Guru, Om. And finally, never miss your sadhana. God bless you all. I'll ask Nitendra to come on now and share the questions with us.
Thank you, Dhyanaji. I will just share the questions. The biggest question that everyone has when you mentioned this, that you had gone out of Ananda, is like, what would have happened to us if you had not come back?
Well, Om Guru is all I have to say. I'm glad he brought me back.
Absolutely. So Dhyanaji, the first question is, I can't stop thinking about myself and my own life, my problems and my worries. So how can I really change my consciousness from my little self to my greater self?
Well, you have to do and be. So you have to work at it, but you can't get so tight and tense that you can't enjoy. There has to be joy. Joy is the fuel. Love as well, but joy more so. It's just pushing you. If you're joyful, you're happy to do the sadhana, isn't it? If you're joyful, you're happy to go to the center. If you're joyful, you're happy to serve. It can't be, oh, they told me to serve. I gotta serve. I gotta meditate. I gotta get to the center. And where's the joy? And so I just did some Ayurvedic treatments, and at a certain point, the joy was lagging because you can't eat certain foods. And I went to the doctor. I said, I gotta eat something I like. He said, okay, I'll give you something you like. But once there's joy there, you can pretty much do anything. So, and the other part is step by step. Don't try to race to the goal. I've seen people race the first year, then they're not there anymore. Isn't it so? I'm going for it. And then what happened to them? And so pace yourself, isn't it so? If you're in a marathon, you have a pace, and you have a certain pace you go at. And so pace yourself. And so also the doing part, give yourself, but the being, there has to be a joy there. And where does the joy come from? It comes from God, because you're offering yourself. And I can say I struggled. That's why I told you that story. It's not like you're a saint when you come into this life. I struggled through many delusions, many pitfalls. I think that's why I can tell you these things with such strength, because I've seen them. And I've seen saints at Ananda, and I've seen people who were wishy-washy. They, well, I don't want to go to the people who are in the, they went to some special thing for them when Swamiji's giving a satsang. It's like, that's a mistake. That's a mistake. And so I've seen it. I've seen hundreds of people leave because of pitfalls. And so this would help you. I think that would be the answer to that.
Thank you, Dhyanaji. Next, we have a live question on what you had mentioned about being sick and what to do then. So the question is, when I am sick, it becomes very difficult to gather the energy and sit for sadhana. So would you have any tips on that?
Lie in the bed and pray. How about that? Get a picture of Master and hold it in front of you and just Om Guru in the bed, lying down, isn't it? Put on a talk of Swamiji's while you're lying in the bed. The thing you don't want to do is have your consciousness just sink. Put on Om in your room. Put on a candle by your altar. Play Swamiji's music, a talk of Master. Do you see what I'm saying? And then as you do that, I just start feeling good. I don't think I've missed one day of seva in my life, because why would I? I'm happy to serve. And the days you're not happy, oh, it's too cold. Oh, it's too hot. Oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. But if you're really committed, you say, Master's committed to me and I'm committed to him. Understand? And as you do that, then you find that he keeps you well. Who keeps you well anyway? God. Do the best you can and let them help you. That's what I would recommend.
Thank you, Dhyanaji. The next question is, to become a saint seems like a very high bar that I don't think I can get to. So is there a little lower level?
Well, let's put it this way. There are steps towards that. Let's not say a lower level. Just say, take as many steps as you can. And we have to realize that the masters are pulling us towards them through their magnetism. Master said, I will give you lots of my good karma. Now, that's not like lots of our good karma, lots of his good karma. And we have Babaji, Lady Mahashaya, all the gurus, and we have Swamiji all pulling us up. All we have to do is raise our hands up, and they're reaching for us. And so instead of saying, I don't know if I can make it, just say, I will, I can. And then as you do, like I think of a child learning to walk, the parents can say, oh, don't worry him, let him sit down, he's okay. If he doesn't want to walk, I'll carry him, it's okay. Carry that boy the rest of his life? Get him up, move him, get the guy moving. And so get moving. And as you get moving, you feel more and more strong every day, more and more positive, more and more like it's possible for you. And be with positive, strong devotees. Don't be with weak devotees. I can't do it. I don't know if you can do it either. Why do we even try? Be with somebody who's a warrior, strength and courage. That's what you need on the path, not wimpy friends. And so get with people who challenge you. They see you doing something wrong and they say, why are you having that glass there? Why are you drinking? Why are you saying those things that are so negative? Live in a challenging environment. That's what drove me away from Ananda. Everybody was so challenging, but I came back and I became a warrior. So I would suggest that.
Thank you, Dhyanaji. We have two more questions.
Okay.
The first one is, I have a family and responsibilities, and I don't feel I can pull away from those to dedicate myself more to the spiritual life. So what would you suggest in that situation?
That's a good question. I would say, There are phases in life. Sometimes I remember when I was asked to serve in Italy, we hardly ever meditated long. And I was desperate to meditate more, but everybody was new. And this was a startup. So you had to serve, and meditate a little with the people who couldn't meditate. They could only meditate 20 minutes or 30 minutes. And I remember I went to Swamiji. I said, we never meditate. All we do is chant and serve. And he said, you need to chant, which was true. It was true. But then that was 7 years of not being able to meditate a lot. And I know a lot. Then I came into the Kriya Sangha at Ananda, and I had to meditate a lot to work with the Kriya bonds. But I know a lot of mothers at Ananda. Swamiji told them, your child is your sadhana right now. And then once your child grows up, then do more meditation. The thing is, most people, when they have more time, they don't do it. They don't. I see, oh, now I've got more time, but I'm going to Goa now. I'm going on vacation, So when you have the time, do more long meditations, chanting more, listen to the talks. When you don't, just offer yourself to God and say, I'm doing all I can do with all my heart. And Divine Mother will help you. So don't try to compare. I think that's the point, Nitendra. People compare with somebody else. Well, he's doing that and I can't do it. Don't compare. Compare with yourself.
Thank you, Dhyanaji. The last question is, would you know any saints at Ananda, and how can we recognize them?
I know a lot of saints, and I know a lot of potential saints. And I know people who Swamiji said they were saints. It's not just my opinion. He said certain people were free. And what a blessing that several of them were my best buddies. And how do you recognize them? The attitudes, their seva, the joy on their face, their eyes, selflessness, devotion, all the things that I talked about, attunement. And honestly, who am I to say, but I wouldn't have said they were free. I mean, how do I know anyway? But Swamiji said, I feel that this person got free in this life. And what they did was these things that I told you here today. And so consider yourself one of these potential saints. Don't just put it on somebody else. Well, maybe that person will make it. What about you? Consider yourself a potential saint and become a saint. Work on it. Work on yourself. Work on your attitudes. Work on your devotion. Work on your attunement. Work on your sadhana. And most of all, give your whole heart to God. That man Horace, I'll close with this. Master said, way before the end of his life, he said, before Horace's end of his life, he said, he's nearly fully liberated. And someone said, oh gosh, because the man was, I mean, you looked at him, and Swamiji said he could barely walk or talk, and they didn't know what kind of kriyas he would be doing. And Master said, well, Divine Mother is pleased with his devotion. Wow, that's a great point to remember. And then someone said, well, it must be a very simple devotion, Master. And Master said, oh, that's what God loves. And so think about it. And he said, Yanamata, she found God through wisdom. And at the end of her life, her words were joy, joy, too much joy. You want those words in your mind, at least, when you leave this earth. So, and we don't know finally when the time will come. So make the acquaintance with God now. God bless you all. Thank you, Nitendra. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye-bye.